So Games Workshop have formally announced their next Warhammer 40k preview, and also that 2025 will be a so-called Year of Chaos. Let's talk about the teasers and what's most likely to be coming in the show. Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today Games Workshop have announced their next Warhammer 40k show. Not so very long to wait for the next miniatures to be revealed. I thought we'd take a look at all the things that they've said about it so far, the stuff that we know is coming and the things that are odds on to be revealed here, plus also take a look at a big new starter set they revealed the other day for the Lord of the Rings. For the reveal show, apparently this will be coming on Saturday the 5th of October, likely one of their reveal shows online where they don't really do interaction and things but more sort of broadcast something that they've pre-recorded in advance. In terms of seeing cool 40k miniatures, it can't really be too much worse than the last one. I felt like that was about as disappointing as it possibly could be for announcing a couple of new 40k miniature ranges, mainly talking about all the stuff that they had done and a fair bit of bat-patting, and then saying there wouldn't be any more 40k codexes till 2025, which I don't think really helps to sell their news that there's a new Krieg range and a new LOTR range on the way, which people are genuinely going to be quite excited for. At least with this one though, there should be focus on the actual new stuff, as opposed to just timelines of when new stuff might turn up, and this one's going to be one of their previews for Warhammer Day, being broadcast on the 5th of October, 5 PM UK time, 12 midday Eastern time in the USA, and 3 AM on the 6th of October over in Australia on Eastern time. In the past, their Warhammer Day previews have often been at least fairly good ones, some genuinely big stuff often saved up for it. I did find it kind of curious that they introduced the whole article though, saying that every year we take a day out of our busy schedule to celebrate that's most important to us, Warhammer. I can't help but think that Games Workshop tend to be celebrating Warhammer most of the time, given that they are the people who make and sell it. In any case though, we had a fair few details as to what might be shown off, and I think we can suppose a few more. The game systems that are getting content in this reveal are Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, Legions Imperialis, and Warhammer Underworld. 40k sitting in pride of place on their website, and it is mentioned in the text, though I did think it was curious that in their reveal trailer they talked about all the other ones by name, and simply refers to Warhammer 40k as "and more." I don't know if they were a little bit unsure exactly what they wanted to show off when they made that trailer, or whether they're trying to not overhype their reveal show, given that usually, even if Warhammer 40k is on the menu, it's probably going to be one or two biggest reveals at most, and could be less than that. The other interesting thing from the teaser articles were that they're billing 2025 as the Year of Chaos, and in their trailer they stated that there's going to be some heretical reveals coming, so at least something good for the followers of the Dark Gods, though it doesn't necessarily mean that that's coming for Warhammer 40k. Games Workshop have often billed certain years as the year of whatever it is. I feel like we've had another year said that they're going to be the Year of Chaos in the past, and I feel like whenever we've had either a month of something or a year of something, people have tended to overinterpret it, and assume that the thing in question is going to be getting a spectacular amount of things every month. Basically, the way to interpret this, in my opinion, is that it just means there's going to be more Chaos releases than their normal calendar would have. It doesn't mean that they're going to do Chaos and nothing else. We already know that there's Guard and Eldari on the way for 40k. And the focus on Chaos will be very much spread out between 40k and Age of Sigmar and maybe other gaming systems as well. So absolutely take this with a pinch of salt in my opinion. For 40k specifically though, Games Workshop had confirmed that something Chaos was already coming in 2025. The next releases are going to be Chaos focused after Imperial Knights follows Eldari and Guard. They'll just literally buy the remaining codexes available for Warhammer 40k. Next year was kind of absolutely guaranteed to be kind of Chaos heavy anyway, given that most of their focus in 10th edition so far has been on Imperial and Xenos codexes. We haven't had the books for Death Guard, Thousand Sons or World Eaters yet. We know that Emperor's Children are going to be coming at some point in the edition, and again that could certainly satisfy some Chaos releases for Warhammer 40k. Though no idea if they're going to be releasing them mid-edition or saving them with Fulgrim for something like an end-of-edition campaign, as they did with Angron and the World Eaters. If that's the case, it'll be likely in 2026. I feel like if Imperial Knights are having their codex drop early in the year, there's a very good chance that Chaos Knights are around that time, and again might literally be on the same day as with the paired release that they had for them for 9th edition. I feel like they're two factions that usually makes good sense to update together. So if you made any big changes to say the standard Questoris or Abhorrent stat line, or new ideas for how Knights work otherwise, you can implement them both at the same time rather than have one codex be weirdly ahead of the other. That'll just leave Chaos Demons for 40k, and basically every single other remaining codex is now odds on to be released in 2025, as we only had 2 codexes released in the last year of the edition last time round. There certainly have been rumours about them being reinterpreted and their different deities being folded into the deity legions, though that could all just be rumours at this point, of course. Either way, it might just be a slightly better time for the Dark Gods than normal in Warhammer 40k, though I think we kind of knew that from their release cycle anyway. I wonder if we'll see some releases for the deity legions like those rumoured Thousand Sons battle automata, the ones that they had in lore and I think that we've been seeing in rumour engines. Sticking with Chaos things, they also told us the identity of their commemorative miniature that they're going to be revealing for Warhammer Day. This one's going to be called Zarketh Bane of Law. I think they just said Chaos Sorcerer. It's not 100% sure whether it's going to be a Sigmar one or 40k one. The name sounds all a bit Zinch, which could be kind of fun, though unfortunately at this point they haven't shown off the actual miniature. I guess there's a good chance that could be next week on their Monday previews, or sometime during the week on a Warhammer community article, I suppose. For Warhammer 40k, we already know that the next codex will be Astra Militarum, releasing sometime early in 2025, though that doesn't necessarily mean that we couldn't have a big box sometime later in 2024. Games Workshop told us that there will be a new Deathcore Krieg range coming with the upcoming Guard Codex. They said a veritable regiment worth of plastic miniatures coming out for them. It sounds like it's shaping up to be a sort of similar counterpart release to the Cadian release that we had in 2022 to 2023, which looks like it will be following the same time schedule if they do release a box set now, as they did the big reveal for this Cadia Stands box set on Warhammer Day on the 8th of October 22. It does seem like Krieg and Guard in general will be the most likely ones to get reveals. They are the next codex to be coming out, and they usually don't leapfrog things on the reveal calendar, and they often tend to reveal launch boxes before they reveal the rest of the supporting stuff, as they did with the Blood Angels and their Death Company box. If it does happen to be shown off on the 5th, then it raises the odds that it could be a before Christmas release, as I had already been kind of expecting. That is basically exactly what they did with the Cadians, show it off on the Warhammer Day preview, and then I think the box set went live sometime in mid-November, even if the actual Guard Codex and the rest of the range didn't come out till January. As to what we might actually see in the box, there's loads of possibilities for the Krieg. They had a massive Forge World line that they could draw on any aspect of it that they wanted. If they do literally go for sort of redoing the regiment with the whole Krieg theming, we could get a lot of counterparts to Cadian troops, maybe an infantry squad, command squad, and the heavy weapons team, and then use the current kill team kit to actually represent veteran guardsmen as opposed to the rank and file. I'd be kind of surprised if they didn't do the Death Riders as one of the single most popular Krieg units out there. And beyond that, I think that there's a good chance of some sort of static artillery, maybe an Earthshaker carriage, Medusa carriage, or a quad gun perhaps, maybe on a model with all the sandbag and minefield type markers that we saw in the rumour engines. Thinking more broadly, could be things like combat engineers, a quartermaster cadre, maybe a martial character miniature in a similar vein to the Cadian Castellan, or maybe their Centaur light tank and transport type thing. That could be interesting if they did do a small vehicle release. Outside of Guard and Death Corps, by their previous roadmap, we know that it's next going to be Eldari and then Imperial Knights after that. I don't think that we'll necessarily see anything at this preview though, given that it'll be Guard on the agenda next. Again, for Eldari, I feel like it's at least kind of predictable, maybe even more so than the Guard. They did specifically say that it's going to be an Aspect Warrior focused release. We've got Swooping Hawks, Warp Spiders and Fire Dragons, all for them to redo, plus all of the Phoenix Lords that haven't yet had a plastic resculpt. I kind of hope that the Imperial Knights get something fun as well. A few different ways they could go with them. Maybe some sort of new and creative, medium-sized class of Big Knight, perhaps an expansion for the Armiger kit in a similar sort of way as the Chaos Knights have their more flexible version with the Gatling cannons and the dedicated melee variant, or if they did want to push beyond the scope of 100% big stompy walkers, they could maybe do something like some feudal men-at-arms as some foot troops that have been mentioned in Nightworld fluff and lore before. For the Legions Imperialis reveal, it seems pretty odds-on that it's going to be the Mechanicum box set that got leaked. I talked about this in a previous video, but it's basically a Reddit post where the back of a big box set got shared, and it essentially shows a version of pretty much the entire Mechanicum range, but made in small. It really does seem that Legions Imperialis and Horus Heresy releases are kind of coming out in lockstep, so the Auxilia coming out for both scales at the same time, and now it looks like it's the same sort of thing, but with Legions Mechanicum. And it even had an interesting battle automata that doesn't have a full-scale model at the moment in the Arlatax battle automata, and a few other things that they haven't got around to releasing in plastic for Heresy-era Mechanicum stuff yet, but that could potentially be some sort of hint as to what might come out in a future wave. Otherwise, for 40k things, Kill Team's another potential for some fun releases. Outside of leaks and rumours, no real confirmed teasers as to what might be coming next for them. When they show them off, it seems likely there'll still be the First Versus box for the new edition setting, a smaller size box set than the Hivestorm one, and a bit more focused on the actual kill teams themselves. I'm kind of interested to see how much they stick with the sort of jump pack theme that they seem to be going for in Hivestorm. We had winged Vespids facing off against Grav Shooter Quillons. I'm not sure if the other kill teams will be mimicking that or going for a bit more of a traditional on-the-ground style approach. I guess if they go with jump packs, maybe we could see something like Orc Storm Boys, or maybe one of the Eldari aspects done for kill team, like Swooping Hawks or Warp Spiders perhaps. I feel like Orcs are the only one that they've really hinted towards at all, given that they appeared in the lore teasers for the new edition. A bunch of boys closing in on the Great Gun as the Vespid and the Scions battle for it. Maybe something like a Storm Boys upgrade sprue, or perhaps even a new Tank Buster kit could be kind of fun. Out of the whole Orc range, it does feel like Tank Busters are the unit that needs the nice plastic update the most. Otherwise, we had a teaser from a Bomb Rat from the previous Advent engine. This one looks like it's one of those quirky miniatures that's going to be coming out for Warhammer Underworlds. I guess it's more likely to be that than Age of Sigmar. If this is going to be a preview that shows off a bunch of things in those Advent engines, then it might make sense that a bunch of the guard teasers that we saw in those do wind up being for a Deathcoil Krieg launch box. If we're seeing one shown off in plastic after we had the teaser this far along the line, we could be seeing others at the same sort of times. Finally, and in another article later last night, Games Workshop also showed off a new Lord of the Rings set. This one looks like it's a starter set for the new edition, the War of the Rohirrim. The starter set itself is called Battle of Edoras, and looks like it's being developed with the idea to tie in with the new animated film that's coming out. Lord of the Rings releases come out at a much slower pace than they used to when there was the big hype around the films and Games Workshop launched it. This one's a pretty major release as it goes for the setting though. A big box contents that I believe is entirely new miniatures, several character miniatures, and then Warriors of Rohan versus Hill Tribesmen. Here's a few of the miniatures that they showed off. Warriors of Rohan on the left, that wolf character in the centre, and some Wilding Tribesmen on the right. Plus it looks like it's coming out packaged with the new editions of the game, plus a bit of scenery as well, which is kind of fun. A couple of thatched cottages there. Seems like it could be a nice enough gateway into their Middle-earth setting if you wanted to check it out with a new edition of that game. In any case though, I'll leave that there for this one. Let me know what you make of the new announced teasers. What things would you most like them to show off for Deathcore or Eldari? And what do you make of Games Workshop's proposed Year of Chaos? Let me know your thoughts as to what they mean by that. If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics. I'll certainly keep the regular news and updates coming. I do tend to post new ones just about every day. Finally, if you've been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description if you'd like to help support and keep these coming. Channel patrons do get a few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.